All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Getting Leathered with Hayden and Mike. A new thing, man. Mike, thanks for coming on. Let's do this, man.
This is going to be great. It's exciting, and I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be good. I think we're going to have good fun with this.
And you're a boxing enthusiast. How long have you been watching boxing for?
A long time. As far back as I can remember. As a child, getting up 3 o'clock in the morning. You sit up all night.
Oh, yeah, American boxing.
And then Tyson comes in 36 seconds later, the fight's over. And, it's that kind of thing.
Hey, if you miss that window period, you go for a cup of coffee.
There's no toilet breaks in that when Tyson was fighting. So I love for a long time. I've just always loved the sport of boxing. I love everything about the sport. You take from discipline, you take the people in boxing, the people around boxing. So, yeah, it's just a phenomenal sport. So
once you get bitten by that boxing bug, it's like you never get rid of that that feeling. So yeah, boxing is in all of our hearts. We can watch other sports, but at the end of the day,
nothing compares to boxing. 100%.
And it's an individual sport, so you got to really pay attention to each person. It's not like a team where you can kind of miss this fixture. No, every fight you got to be watching.
Yeah, 100%. That's why I say it's like the characters around it, the people that are involved in it. There's so many different personalities. The diversity is huge.
Yeah.
There's so much diversity, which is wonderful. I think it caters for everyone. So
let's move towards immediate action. ESPN Africa boxing happened last night. I don't know when the recording of this will actually come out. But at the time of we talking, it happened in the evening before. What did you think of the show as a whole? What do you think of ESPN coming in?
Absolutely love it. I think it's brilliant for boxing. The atmosphere at both events have been phenomenal. And
it would be biased for me to say because I'm part of the commentary team, so I can't exactly go and say, oh, it's this is that. Yeah, I'd rather have it from outside,
100%. And the thing is, I've been I've been privileged to have been at both events.
Yeah.
And both events, the atmosphere has just been great. From start to finish, no fight. The matchmaking is unbelievable. The fights have been good. The skill level of the fighters is unbelievable. It's been fantastic. Really has been good.
I'm looking forward to seeing what's happening, in South African boxing as a whole. A lot of promoters are starting to, take their heads out and, crowds are coming back again. They're going to say, well, we'll put on X amount of shows a year. Every promoter doing it, whereas last year we had a handful of guys putting on a handful of shows. Wasn't really feeling like a good boxing scene.
No, it wasn't. And the thing is, I think with ESPN coming on board, the thing is, seeing boxing is what makes it great. It's on TV.
Accessible.
It's accessible. The interviews have been phenomenal. The background story of the fighters have been great. It's world class. It's just great. It's awesome.
So not to harp on negativity, but we are still behind the international scene. South Africa is not really seen as a hub of boxing, although I believe in Africa we're number one for sure.
Yeah.
I've seen some of the other shows that we see in Tanzania, we see in Nigeria. They're quite a bit behind us.
Yeah, 100%. Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, looking at that and just judging the whole scene. Seeing the production levels of last night. That's it feels like it's in the States when you're watching it on TV.
Yes, no, it's brilliant. And the thing is, like I say, it's the boxing on TV, the background story of the fighters. It just brings you a little bit closer, which is great because like I was saying, we've got such a wealth of talent in this country. We've got diversity. We've got different cultures, different backgrounds, and it's great to finally be in and I'm saying that finally in the sense of it being on TV. There's no drama, there's no stories in the background. You know what I'm saying? With you, I look up to you because SA Boxing Talk has always done that. It's provided that. If you didn't know about SA Boxing Talk, you weren't around boxers, you didn't know what the stories were, what was going on in the camps. This is just another level. It just adds to that, which is brilliant.
Yeah, I really like it because you're right about the background stories. It's very important for a fan to identify
100%.
With the athlete because if they don't identify, it's just two random strangers in a ring knocking each other.
Yeah,
that's basically
and that's 100%. That's exactly what it is.
You're already coming into a venue after watching all these build-up videos. You kind of have an idea of who you're going to be cheering for.
100%.
As a spectator, you don't want to just rock up to a venue. I don't really know these guys. I can quickly go get a can of Coke or something like that. That's not cool. You want to come to the venue, be I like this guy, I like his story. And then what's even more amazing is while you're cheering for this guy, actually you change your mind halfway through and you're this other guy's coming in hot.
I was just about to say that from the background and the editing and that, it's so brilliant because there's times when you find you actually torn between two fighters.
Yeah.
And you're saying, I love this guy's story, I love his background, But at the same time, I'm going, I love this guy's story and I love this guy's background. You know, and you find yourself conflicted when cheering for them. So it yeah.
You know, I find the hardest. Okay, so for me as a journalist, I can't really like say, oh, I like this guy, I like that guy. You know, I got to be completely objective,
unbiased. Yeah.
But like, I see fans all the time going on media. They, you know, they avidly will go out on a limb and like support people. How are you with regards to that?
I'm also torn between that at times and that, because if I look at certain fighters and that, I'm very supportive. I
give that positive feedback.
100%. Yeah. But what I don't like is when there's a lot of negativity around a fighter.
Right.
Unnecessary, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, so, you know, like if you look at, like I was saying to you, for example, the Dennis Marley fight.
Yeah.
I love that guy. I love his story. I love everything about him. But at the same time, I look at Gift and I'm saying, this guy is also, what a story.
And
you know, so you feel torn in that. But yeah, it's the negativity for me that just kills it sometimes.
I want to stay on this point because I don't feel like it's mentioned enough. Obviously, a lot of people are jumping on the platforms and saying various things without really knowing the consequences of what it means for the people that are on the receiving end of it. You know, like there's a lot of like negative feedback. There's no positive reinforcement. So like, you know, usually in a case where you really want to say something, you at least should provide a solution to the problem.
100%,
and I feel like it's a lot of bashing at the moment. Doing this, you're not up, you know, like, it's terrible, man.
But, you know, that's why I was saying it's so nice. Like, I really feel good vibes about, like, this podcast thing and that.
Yeah.
I hope it takes off because I feel like you should be able to state your point or your opinion, 100%, but do it in such a way that, like you say, there's, you know, what is the solution to it?
Yeah.
Or how do we, you know, look to change it or whatever. But, I just think like sometimes you'll it's almost as if you're too afraid to say something because it could shun you from the boxing world. If you say something that might not necessarily agree with someone, you're blocked in a different area. So, but it shouldn't be like that.
No, I mean, blockades happen, eh?
100%.
Many blockades, especially in my industry.
Yeah.
Although I'd never step on anyone's toes. I mean, it's still coming with the territory. But sure, look, media's a tricky game. You got to represent. You got to represent and promote the sport more importantly than like talking about journalists and negativity. Journalists do it all the time. They're looking for that headline. Like, how do I? Last night's events. I mean, I'm waiting to see the news headlines from what they come out with. See what angle I would lead with. Zingange. He had an amazing show
100%.
last night. I mean, he destroyed Pila and Panchana. But one of the articles might be about the one female boxer's eyes, although that's going to fall solely on the ABU for not getting a doctor involved. I think that might steal some of the headlines.
100%, yeah. But that's the thing. I think it's important to see what the headlines are that come after. But the thing is, we should be speaking about the positivity.
Correct.
I mean, Sibusiso had a phenomenal fight. A great fight.
I've never seen him that good before, man.
Never. I've been to a lot of his fight cards when he's been on, and I mean, it was a touching moment when he said it was for Andre. At the end, I mean, he's just, you know, seeing his journey has been and the thing is, it's been a limited journey because you'd only see certain parts.
Yeah.
It's not always on TV. You know, the backgrounds, unless you're doing it, nobody's doing it with SA Boxing Talk. So it brings you that much closer. And if he's got that kind of impact, imagine now with ESPN, it's opening up. You can be more behind the scenes. You see his build up even more. I mean, come on. That was phenomenal. That was great. So, like I say, but, you know, the thing is, I'd noticed on one of the social media platforms, you know, there was a comment that was saying, but, you know, the officiating tended to have been more helpful towards Sibusiso, and I'm going.
Well, look, take it where it comes from. Where did it come from? The Eastern Cape.
Yeah.
So that makes perfect sense.
But no, it does. But I'm just saying, like, if you look at it, I mean, that was a masterclass. He absolutely boxed his socks off.
Yeah, no, there wasn't any excuses. Like in Panchana, I mean, I was sitting in commentary, and I mean, you could even go back and like, if you want to go back on the recording, is that he only won round one.
Yeah.
Pila and Panchana. The rest is Ngange completely destroyed
100%,
him.
yeah.
And he knocked him down with a jab. Several times he wobbled him with a jab. I've never seen Ngange possess an extreme amount of power. Yeah. However, his jab looked like his best punch that night. And of course, he was coming up with those good inside left hooks. I mean, It was a proper masterclass.
No, 100%. Yeah. From the get-go, he really did put on a performance. But, in saying that, it's like I was saying, if you look at the whole fight card, the matchmaking was brilliant.
Yeah, you got to give a shout out to the matchmaker
were good. I don't think any fighter can be aggrieved by
a
decision. Not at all. And there's been a few. I mean, look, Abdulaziz.
That was an extremely close fight. It could have gone either way.
100%.
Yeah.
I loved that fight. It was a great fight. I didn't give it to Aziz.
Yeah.
But in saying that, reading the next morning that the decision was wrong,
but you're always going to get spectators.
You're always going to get it.
Yeah, you won't get anyone saying, look, whenever it's a close fight, you'll never get them. Like for example, the guy that lost a close. I lost that fight. You don't get that. Like, it's not like, because everyone believes they won the fight. Like, if it's that close, they believe they did that little bit extra to win the sort of the opinion of the judges.
Yes.
But it's not the case. I thought the judging was extremely fair throughout the night.
Absolutely.
Thinking back, my favorite fight of the night was the Baller fights against Mwale.
Yeah, I enjoyed that fight.
Mwale messaged me this morning. He said, "What did you really think of the fight?" And I just gave him my honest assessment. He said, on commentary and in person, I had it 5 rounds to 3 to give Baller. I'm not going to sit around and lie to someone and say, because I'm feeling bad for them or whatever.
100%. But you shouldn't have to.
It is. Yeah.
You shouldn't have to worry about that because you're not necessarily attacking the fighter specifically, or you're not. The Darren Rousseau fight.
Yeah.
I actually said, because I went with my put, he was sitting next to me, and I said to him, you know what? I like this guy. Look how he slips those punches. His movement was
Round
good.
1 came out so slick.
But yet, I'd seen a comment saying that he didn't look so great.
See, so that's like, but that's when it comes down to opinions, right?
Yeah.
Everyone's got one, and unfortunately...
And that's fine to have.
Yeah. But I mean, like, we got 2 eyeballs. We can see what's happening on the display. Sometimes it's so blatantly obvious that, like, I thought Darren had a great performance.
Absolutely,
I thought he stepped up, because remember, I don't know if you remember, he beat Nelson Mbele in his last
100%.
fight.
And I think
He
Nelson...
got better, but Nelson perhaps didn't up his level. Like, Nelson didn't get out a guy that he should have,
Yes.
A guy that was 0-3, he's been knocked out twice.
Yeah.
You expect Mbele to be putting those guys away.
100%.
However, he's let him go. Now, does he get another opportunity? It's going to be a difficult one. Darren Rousseau definitely has got himself another opportunity.
For sure, he must get another opportunity. Yeah. And like I was saying, I mean, he's what now? 4-0 now?
4-0, yeah. 3 knockouts.
He's going to polish. He's going to get better. So those little mistakes, because in certain cases, you sort of looked at it and said, look, he's well ahead. He doesn't have to be wild. He doesn't have to, and his jabs were stiff. He was throwing good movement. He was fighting great, but he'll get better with that.
He will get better.
And the thing is, now I like Nelson Mbele.
Yeah, of course.
I like him, and I think he's definitely one to watch. But like you say, I think Darren's performance was just.
I think Nelson needs to sit on his punches a bit better. I think that he was just a little bit upright and just not throwing enough power behind his punches. He was throwing sometimes like a lot of punches, but like. They were just not. They didn't have that sting.
But question to you: do you think that's possibly because of the TKO loss to Darren Rousseau? Do you think maybe subconsciously that he was pulling back a little bit because of that?
I don't think his style's changed. I think even the same style. I do believe that even in that Darren where he got stopped, he won the first round against Darren Rousseau. But I think Darren's made the necessary improvements, whereas Nelson just
almost stayed stagnant.
Yeah, he needs to look, not to say that like maybe behind the scenes something just didn't go according to plan.
100%.
But he didn't look like he made those improvements fight on fight.
Yeah.
Like he's looked like he's just needing to try something different in his camp.
Yes.
I don't know, his trainer's going to have to go look at that. That's their responsibility to up his level. But in terms of what I've seen, I was expecting a bigger performance, to be honest.
Yeah. And I think quite a few were, because we know what he's capable of. Even though he's new into it, we've seen what he can do and what potential he has. So
look, there's definitely Nelson's a talented kid. There's potential there. I just think it maybe just one of those nights. You get.
You get the off nights.
You got like Tian Fick against Warren LaRue in that fight. I mean, Fick was like 5-0. Warren LaRue was like I think 2-1.
Yeah.
And Fick was like highly favored. And although Warren's like a really nice guy, I love Warren. But if you look at on paper, Fick was always gonna win the fight.
Yeah.
So when it was a close fight and a split. That's the sort of off nights you would say for Fick.
Yeah,
and that's the same position that Mbele is in now. Where he's had an off night.
Yeah, not so different to the Abdulaziz fight.
He didn't look himself.
The way I looked at it, I said, you know what, his punches didn't seem to be coming off like I'm sure he wanted them to come off.
Oh man, if you watched him in the SA, I thought he should have been SA champion that night.
Yeah,
at the Gauteng Boxing Promoters Association, but. He didn't pull that same. Look, I firmly believe that Abdulaziz is better as the rounds go on. I thought 6 rounds was a bit short.
Yes.
For this fight, I would have loved the extra 2. I'll be honest.
I agree. Yeah.
But in saying that Maduna did enough, I didn't like the way Maduna started the fight. He was on his bicycle on the ropes, just swinging and not throwing punches.
Correct. Yeah.
And then he sort of got better as the rounds went on.
100%. Yeah.
But I don't know if Maduna is the necessarily championship material.
No.
Not to sound bad or anything like that, but he didn't prove to me that he's willing to go and take someone's belt away. He just looked like he was content, sitting on the outside.
That's how it seemed, and that's why I was saying my thing is it looked like his punches were cleaner. He was he was tagging Abdul a bit more.
You could see it on the face as well. I mean, Abdul had some markings on his face.
So, but like I'd say, again, we come back to the thing. Would you say it's robbery? I don't believe that. I gave it to Maduna.
So look, it was a very close one. You're right.
Close.
I mean, that's your
100%,
I was draw. I was sitting on the fence 3-3. I was literally like one round after one round after one round after thinking, these guys are not comprehensively winning rounds either.
Yes.
So like they're subjective.
So how do you see it? How does the judges see it? Which way? Exactly. Are they looking at aggression? Are they looking at movement?
So the one judge gave it 5 rounds to 1 to Abdulaziz, right? So I was a bit skeptical there. I don't know where that card came from. I'd say at most 4-2 to Abdul. And then on the other end, I had a 3-3, so obviously the 3-3.
Yeah.
And then at most 4-2 to Maduna. I don't think Maduna won more than 4 rounds, and I don't think Abdul won more than 4 rounds. It was just a subjective 2 close rounds. Which, depending on how you saw it,
which way it would swing, So
it's judging is a hard job.
It's not a job I want.
Yeah.
I can tell you that much.
I'm sitting on commentary. I'm like, my unofficial scorecard, let's see if I can judge, And I was right most of the nights. I think the only one was that one. I think I gave that one a draw. Actually, in fact, I didn't actually put my neck on the line and say that it was a draw. But in my mind, I got every other result right. I had Zinganke 11 rounds to 1.
Yes. I had a complete shutout.
And the thing is, it's hard as a commentator because you're like, well, if you're seeing it one way, but you're only seeing domination, like you don't want to over-compliment one boxer all the time, but that's just what it was. There wasn't anything to compliment from Pilo and Ponchano that night.
Yes, yeah.
So that's a difficult job because you want to balance, but when someone's getting absolutely caned like that, there's no balance.
What was your thought? I was actually chatting to a few guys around us in that, and I would have, from a corner's perspective, round 10, I would have said, look, you're not doing anything that would lead you to believe that you're going to take this fight. You're not going to stop him.
Yeah.
And you're getting hiding. So, live to fight another day, or do you take some more punishment?
So like I'm
not on the fence. Some were saying, let him go. He's got to do it. Others were saying, the ref should stop it because he's taking punishment here. So
like the ref's obviously got to make an assessment in that situation. The corner can easily throw in a towel as well. If they feel the ref's not doing his job, it's their responsibility to be the second line of defense and say enough's enough because they actually know their boxer a lot better than the ref.
No, 100%. Yeah.
They train him for an entire camp. They've been together for X amounts of years. They should know him and how he reacts. He looked absolutely destroyed, man.
He was.
You're right. He looked like he had absolutely no chance. Around that 10 mark, I mean, I could see exactly. And I was saying in commentary, barring one big shot, this fight is a foregone conclusion.
But in those 10 rounds, I don't believe once he looked like he had that shot.
He looked like he was a helicopter. He was swinging so much and missing.
It was. But it was. Look, he fought. My question maybe that I can give to you is.
Thank you. I'd like to be asked questions as well.
going out on your shield.
Yeah.
Okay. Like the one guy said, but he's got heart. Yes, he's got heart. You can commend him for that. But taking that amount of punishment.
So here's my thing, right? In boxing, I understand going on your shield, you want legacy and whatnot, right? And obviously, he's a South African champion. He's very proud to be a South African champion. What about your family? What about your kids, your wife, or whoever you in a relationship with, your mother, your father? When you're going home and you're taking so much unnecessary punishment after the fact that you at that point you should have stopped, all that extra additional damage, you got to be thinking to yourself. I know. There's pride and ego at stake as well, but surely the corner should be like.
At some point, that's what I'm saying.
Don't milk this guy for all he's worth. Rather just save him for another day. You're right. Save him for another day. I believe if you genuinely believe a boxer can come back and win the fight, then pursue it a bit longer. But it was one of those situations where it's like this guy's not going to come back.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like you can't say but the fight it was close. He was there. He wasn't getting his punches away, whatever.
Interestingly enough, we speak about going out on his shield. Deontay Wilder fired his coach because his coach didn't let him go out on his shield. Yeah. Remember the first fight?
100%.
Sorry, the second fight.
The second fight.
The second fight where Tyson Fury dismantled him, absolutely gave him carrots.
Yeah, no, that was.
he fired his coach because the coach stopped the fight for saving his life. I mean, that's the other end of the stick. It's like, well, the coach now is thinking, well, am I going to get fired because I threw in the towel? You know, like a lot of guys are very sensitive, boxers, because, you know, everyone's Mayweather causes problem where he's like, protect your O, and everyone's like so scared to even catch a loss.
Well, that's the thing. Do you, you know, I don't know, it's actually a difficult one to sort of look at, because you can understand from the corner's perspective, especially now that you've brought the Deontay Wilder thing into light. But, you know, I don't know, you know, did it help him?
Well, obviously not, as he lost the next one.
You know, so
he's full of excuses.
100%. And he's looking at, what's this, he's going on this shroom trip thing that he's thinking of drinking this, what's it called, Ayapalooza or whatever.
See, I don't follow that stuff.
And he's wanting to take it's a psychedelic drink.
Okay. And
to really see if he should stop boxing or if he should continue, or, you know, I just...
Do you think was there ever a point where you thought Deontay Wilder was a good boxer?
Look, you've got to give him...
Take away his power.
Take away his power? No. I don't think he's a good boxer at all. But you have to give him some kind of credit to go, the streak he went on, knocking the guys that he did out. It doesn't matter whether you're a good fighter or not a good fighter. You've done that, you know.
So, okay, here's another question about Deontay Wilder, because, like, his resume for me is so padded. Like, the first 30 opponents.
It is padded, 100%, like, yeah.
So, who's the best guy he's knocked out?
I don't...
you know,
Stavern.
Ortiz?
Yeah, I suppose you could say Ortiz, but I mean, Ortiz was ahead on that fight as far as I looked at it.
I think Ortiz is old enough to be his father. You know, like you know, like the thing is, like, you gotta take it where it comes from. Ortiz is obviously like a Cuban style boxer.
Yeah,
he's a good boxer, but like if he had fought maybe in his prime, he would have destroyed Deontay Wilder. You know, that's the type of...
Well, yeah, 100%.
You know, so like let's take Wilder's record and say, like, has he actually been as good as people think he is, or did he get himself in a position to fight for these belts? Because even in the first fight against Tyson Fury, right? He knocked down Tyson Fury. That was his only round. He knocked him down twice. Those are the only 2 rounds he won in the whole fight.
Correct, yeah.
And then he stands up and says he won the fight. Like,
yeah, no. Look, you've got a big point there, and I think Stavern would probably be the highest rated that you could say he knocked out. I mean, you know, Louis Ortiz, yeah. But yeah, so I think it's just one of those. Let's hope that psychedelic shake tells him to stop, because I think look, I tell you what, if he had to, I don't think he would. The Joshua fight, I think he has a puncher's chance.
Yeah. 2 big punches, actually.
I rate, okay. Yeah. I've got to be honest with you. I think if he has to step into the ring with someone like a Dillian White, who, you know what I'm saying? Like, that caliber, he's only going to come off second best.
Sure.
Even a Delboy.
Chisora. You reckon Chisora beats Deontay Wilder?
100%. I mean, Delboy is a war machine, you know what I mean? He's like I don't think Wilder can stand with someone that can box. Very similar to what I'd said about the Khan Brook situation.
Well, I'm going to get on this one now. No. I remember somewhere in our conversations, you said Amir Khan was going to win this fight.
100%.
And then you reverted, saying you went on your fence after you said Khan was going to win. Let's speak honestly here.
Honestly speaking, I'd said, and I still say Khan beats Brook all day. If he uses his speed and he boxes, he'll outbox Brook. But which he tends to lose his marbles sometimes and tries to stand toe to toe. He tries to, go to a slugfest with a Weet-Bix chin. He's never gonna. It's not gonna. And that's what I cannot for the life of me think what he was thinking. And he didn't make it a close fight. He got out-slugged.
Yeah, Brook looked good that night.
And when he was talking about, he doesn't know if he should... Dude, you need to retire, because that was like... I
think that's the right move now. Like,
big time.
But he's made enough money in his career. He's made like a ton of money. But moving on from that fight is Kell Brook. he wants to now fight Chris Eubank Jr. I don't know if you saw that.
I saw that, and I see
it's not a good fight for
Ben
Gilbert.
is in the mix for this as
No,
well.
Ben should stay out of that because Ben should focus on his welterweight division.
I 100%
He
agree
should
with
be
that.
jumping
Yeah.
between weight divisions.
But I see they were arguing about if
The
he
weights.
was prepared to go to Golovkin at 160, and
it's not very risky. Eh? It's
Yeah.
guys in Britain, there you go.
I think, in my honest opinion, I think Cal should also call it a day.
So you think that look, if he calls it a day now, he finishes on a high.
100%.
And he's just made a
Why would you not want to finish on a high?
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
He'll lose to Eubank just purely because of the weight division. I'm not saying he's not I think Eubank's just in a better form at the moment as well.
Yeah.
Because Eubank also I don't think he's the cream of the crop either. But he's been very fortunate. I think he became an RBO world champion.
Was it? Yeah, I think it was IBO.
Yeah,
But,
I don't know if he lives beyond that RBO level though.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. But again, it depends who you fight. I mean, you could fight someone that's not up to scratch in one of the major 4 sanctioning bodies as well. So there's that fight, and then I like Conor Benn. I wanted to say
I also like Conor Benn,
I think he's going to be a force at the welterweight division now, though.
Yeah.
You're looking at Jaron Ennis, who's on the come up. You're looking at Virgil Ortiz.
Virgil Ortiz, yeah.
These are just the guys on the wings. These are not even the top guys. These are Jaron Ennis I rate as the top guy, but you got Terence Crawford, Errol Spence Jr.
Yeah, but again, we're going. There's names, but you're going along the lines of will they face each other?
No, that's the boring part about it.
100%.
That's where we're missing
So
out.
you're going, yes, we've got a stacked division. We've got great fighters.
Who are you
We've got
gonna
great
fight?
names, but who are they going to fight?
I mean, I see Errol Spence is now he's fighting his mandatory Ugas.
Yeah.
So he's,
Which I think he'll get past. He should.
Yeah, he should get past him, but I don't know if Errol Spence and Terence Crawford's ever going to happen.
I don't think so.
That's why I'm really upset about. I really want to see that fight.
I'd love to see that fight.
And I believe Terence Crawford will win that fight. What are you thinking?
Come on.
Give us an honest opinion.
Honest opinion, I think Spence.
You got Spence because of power.
Yeah, but Spence's skill set. I mean,
He's got a better skill set than Terence Crawford.
I believe so. Yeah.
Terence Crawford's way more well-rounded.
Well-rounded. Yeah, I suppose you've got an argument for that.
He's got
No, you do
orthodox.
for sure.
He adapts. Look at they had a common opponent recently, and Crawford took care of him much better than Spence. I was just trying to remember the guy's name. Now it got me live on air, and I got stuck there. But they had a common opponent, and Crawford did a better job.
Okay, but while you're on you're now thinking about the common opponent and things like that. Do you think that is a? Can you look at that? Can you look at a fighter that
styles
says
make fights?
100% styles make fights. Styles have to make fights. If you look at okay, forget the class, whatever the class is, okay. But you look at Pacquiao and you look at a couple of his performances. You look one Marquez. Floyd Mayweather came in and absolutely schooled him.
You're a big Mayweather fan, aren't you?
A massive Mayweather fan.
I can tell by the comments.
No, but what I'm trying to say is but can you use that? Maybe you can. I suppose in certain instances you can. I mean, that fight that's coming up with Perez.
Yes.
He's fighting Vasyl Duka.
Yeah. So
And
you're gonna see a
there's been a couple of comments saying, "Oh, we'd like to see how he fares against Kevin's opponent." Yeah, you could see that, but I mean, a lot can change in 6 months to a year. Or
Duka could have got better. He could have got worse.
He could have got worse, you know.
So it's
And I like Perez.
Yeah.
I like Perez. I do think he is a feared cruiserweight.
But he's not getting the recognition worldwide. I mean,
No.
if you think about it, he's not mentioned in the same conversation as the Usyks, the Braidis's, the
No.
Okolis, the who else is up there? Junior Makabu,
Yes.
Tabiso Mchuno even. He's not even getting mentioned in that one, and that's
No.
sort of where the conversation dies out until he's going to be facing those guys. He used to be up there, in those names.
Yeah.
But now he's got to stamp his authority again. Obviously, opportunities are scarce.
But
And
yeah.
I get that. That's why he's probably fighting Vasyl Duka as well.
Yes.
Because of the opportunities being so scarce. Because ordinarily you'd like to see him maybe pushing for a world title.
100%, yeah. I mean, and he's a deadly puncher.
Yeah.
And I know he's definitely a feared cruiserweight.
Is that a fact?
I rate so.
Okay.
I rate so.
Just checking. Just checking with you.
Yeah. No, I
I know he's going to argue with me about this when he hears this podcast.
Who's going to give you gears?
You know.
Who? Oh, the bomber.
Yeah, the bomber. He's the big mates. Big
No,
mates.
I know.
Big mates with Mike Perez.
Yeah, no. That's why I'm saying when I saw that, where it's good to see who a fighter that fought Kevin, how he's going to fit. Absolutely, but I don't know if you can really bank on that because I think each fighter in their own, you have to give credit to, and I think, like you say, 6 months, a year, 2 years, a lot can change. Has he gotten worse? Has he gotten better? So.
So who's your at the moment in this current generation? Who's your guy? Who's the guy that you?
Oh, are we talking local or international?
Anyone in the world, international. It could even be a local guy, but I mean, I'm not going to limit you.
Okay, now look. Okay, let's look local as a start, for example. Okay, I absolutely have a 100% a massive Kevin Arena fan. Okay, huge. Rocknap, huge. Okay, but this is what I was saying early on. This is what's so beautiful about our country and our fighters. We've got so much talent, we've got so much diversity, different cultures, different backgrounds. And let's look at Kev, for example. You look at where he started and how he's pulled through. Why go through the say, but who's he fought? Or he's fighting cab drivers, cherry pickers. You've got the best fighters in the world overseas cherry picking. You know what I'm saying? So I'm saying you look at Kev, he fights who he's put in front of him. And whoever that might be, okay, he goes out there, he puts on a performance. Now, I'm saying look at it from this perspective. What kind of role model is he to our youth and to people in South Africa? You look at him in terms of, the emergency med, the paramedic side of it that he does. You look how he carries himself. I mean, he's our champion. Look how he carries himself, the way he's marketable, and he's a good person, and the things he does. So I'm just saying, I know there's drama and people have their say, and this guy says this, and but this and that. But let's forget that. Let's not look at negativity.
So let's take a step back then. Obviously, you enjoy those two boxes, and I'm sure there's many other boxes you also enjoy locally. But let's look at our grooming system, right? So you mentioned that these guys they are our number ones, and they're popular and they really carry themselves well. But after 10 fights, I mean, with these particular boxes, in the States already they've identified this guy, he's 10-0, whatever, like Errol Spence and all those guys we're talking about. And everyone's talking about them. You say our guys are at 10-0, they're still in development stage, according to the South African public, which is like, are they really stars then? Or do they only become stars now when they're 30 fights in?
Yeah, that's, look
so looking at the grooming and just the way we portray our guys, they're heroes before they're heroes.
True, but in saying that, if you take, for example, the marketing and how fighters are portrayed overseas is very different here.
Yeah, okay, so there's a big level difference.
There's a big level difference. Yeah. And that's why I'm saying hats off to you, because it's guys like you and your show that bring us closer to the boxers and to those and to their lifestyles and the things that they do. If you follow Rocknap on and you see his training and you see the posts he puts up, the same with Kevin. I mean, it's inspiring. Yeah, it's inspiring.
Well, that's what you want to see as
100%.
As a fan, as a follower of the sport. You want to see what exactly this person is doing all the time. You want to be on it. You don't want to be missing for a couple of months and be like, "Oh, what happened to this guy?" Because your mind, you easily forget about these people. All the guys that retired, right? No one, once you retired...
Except for Floyd.
He keeps going. He's in Dubai every week doing this shit.
He's all over the show.
But he needs to be relevant all the time. It's part of his personality.
Yeah.
And making money. I suppose that's how he makes his money as well. But, retired boxers in South Africa, if they're not doing that, what Floyd's doing... They should probably just let the other guys have this a bit of the limelight as well, because their careers had their time.
No, 100%. But look, I think going back to where you were saying about the grooming and stuff, I mean, you know how difficult it is to get onto certain shows. There's obviously problems in the background. And, if you're seen with this one, it's a problem. If you're negotiating with that one, it's a problem. And I'm just saying, there's so much politics, and there shouldn't be. I'm not saying there's not politics overseas.
Do you know, that's why I like Eddie Hearn, because even with this whole situation with Tyson Fury and Dillian White now, he said, no, it's okay. Let Tyson Fury's team negotiate. I'll just stay out of this. Like, he's not like, oh no, I must make my cut from this.
100%.
I mean, the guy's so secure in his own, in himself, in his finances. He doesn't actually care whether or not who deals with the fight, so long as his fighter gets the best deal.
100%.
And that's what I think is the difference here. Is everyone's looking to get their cut. Everyone's like, no, how much can I make out of this guy? You know, it's a business, quote unquote. Everything's a business. Yeah. But like, if you're so secure. You surely
100%.
be able
but
to
again,
to
are we doing
first.
it? Are we doing it for paper, or are we doing it for the love of the sport?
So what's the intentions? That's what really we need to ask in the sports. I'm hoping as well now with the new all these new promotions that are coming out and like new opportunities that fighters can now pick where they want to be. They don't have to be forced into a situation where I have to be with this person, otherwise I'm not fighting.
100%. And should we not embrace that?
We should.
We should embrace
We should have more tournaments than there are fighters now,
100%.
so that the guys are fighting every month, every 2 months, especially 4-round fighters.
But that's what you're looking at. You're saying grooming and this and that. If you look at the matchmaking on ESPN, the last 2 fights, I mean, that was solid matchmaking. That was great matchmaking. It was great entertainment. It was great fighting.
Whether or not the guys are what people deem to be the next Floyd Mayweathers or not, the fact is these matches are so intense. They're so entertaining. You can't pick a winner.
Absolutely. And truth be told, even the loser walks out there with a following of, geez, like that guy, what a fight, great person, and you want to know more about that fighter.
Yeah.
You want to know more about his background and who he is and where he comes from and what, hey, what's this all about?
All right, so so you mentioned earlier, Kevin, you mentioned Rourke. What's the big fight you want to see locally?
Locally?
Locally, what's the big fight? So I'll ask you internationally, but I'll also say locally and internationally, but you can go first.
Locally, I must be honest, I would like to see a Nap Taste rematch. I would.
I'm not going to put you on the spot, don't worry, I'm not going to ask for a prediction. But,
Nap all day.
Nap, okay, I didn't have to ask fast, Okay.
Yeah, no, look, I'd love to see that fight. I think it would be a good fight. I'd love to see Chris in the mix. Chris Thompson.
Okay.
I think he was I think it was a bit hard.
Maybe him versus Jean Roux.
You know what? I'd love to see him take on the winner of the Pretorius Roux fight. Well, I mean, I suppose you could go. If it went, say Pretorius won, I suppose you could still do Roux, but. The winner of that fight, I think that's the right way to go.
Yeah.
And I think I'd love to see him in the mix.
You know which fight I've been wanting to see? It's like almost like an Amir Khan Kell Brook situation, and I know that's not happening anytime soon. Was Chris Van Heerden against Tulani and Mbenge?
Oh man,
I've been wanting to see that fight for the past 5 years.
That was one that got away. I mean, where's Mbenge?
Yeah.
You don't see much anymore. You don't hear much anymore.
He beat Jabulani Mckenzie.
Yes.
And then kind of like, I think what they're trying to do with him is they're trying to move him internationally now, but like as you know, it's so difficult to secure those fights.
Yes.
Plus you got to be able to pay the guy what he's worth, and Mbenge is quite like he's an expensive commodity right now.
Yeah.
Because of his position, like he's quite highly rated in the sanctioning
bodies. He's hot property. And
you're not going to get him on a cheap.
No, of course not. But you know what? Like that's what I'm saying. Okay. You wouldn't be able to get Van Heerden here on the cheap either.
Yeah, because he's now American, right? So he's making the dollar.
That's the thing.
I don't know if you've seen, but Van Heerden's supposed to fight Conor Benn next.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that was a bit of a mistake.
But he's been sitting idle. I mean, sitting idle.
But I mean, that's a fight, eh?
Chris, by the way, if you're listening, Mike is...
Chris knows I'm from Mayton, baby, born and bred, and he knows it, and I love Chris.
Yeah.
Big fan of Chris, but I just think maybe, like you said, being on the sidelines I think the Ben fight might have been...
You know, the hardest part about it is that there's no chin-up fights in America, eh?
No, there isn't. That's the problem, eh? But, look, I mean, you know what, look... another fight that I think, the Van Heerden Kamanga fight. I would have liked to have seen that.
I don't know if Paul's a welterweight, eh?
You know what? I think...
I think Paul's a junior welter. That's like, he's small.
Yeah.
He's small for welterweights. In fact, I think Mckenzie versus Kamanga makes a whole lot more sense.
Yeah.
Because don't write off Jabulani Mckenzie. I think one night against a quality operator like Chilani Mbenge isn't a shame. Obviously that's stopped, but I think he's coming back soon.
But like you say, I mean, Mbenge,
it's levels. But also, like, remember, Jabulani he's not supposed to be a welterweight. He made the move up, he got comfortable, he got a couple of wins, didn't want to cut the weight. His best move is obviously back down to junior welterweight, which hopefully in the future he's going to be doing.
Yeah.
So he'll give himself a good opportunity there. But if you're looking internationally, I mean, there's a whole lot of tiger sharks out there that are waiting for all of our guys, and our guys got to like persist and just keep keep knocking on those walls, and eventually we will bring them down.
No, 100%. Look, I think that's why I think locally there's some good matchups to be made.
Yeah.
Locally, I think there's some good fights that can be put on. But I think it just comes into the thing of, can they? Will they?
I hate that question. There should just be like a big like the UFC. Like they just make the fights they want. The best versus the best.
And that's it. And that's. Yeah.
But that's why, like, back in the day, the guys used to fight each other like 3 or 4 times because, like, literally that was the best versus the best. There's no point sometimes fighting the guys on the up and coming because they were not there yet. They were still earning their stripes.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Pacquiao fought Marquez, like, I think 5?
Is it 4? Yeah, no, 5. I think it was 5.
Times?
Yeah, it was 5.
I mean, that's crazy. I mean, if Mayweather and Pacquiao had fought 5 times,
Jeez, look.
What do you think? Do you think Pacquiao would have won any of those fights? I think so.
Look. Yeah,
I don't think Mayweather's untouchable. I know you.
No, I don't believe he's untouchable either. But
he's been down, even though it wasn't counted.
Yeah.
Zab.
Zab fight, yeah. And Zab was doing well, eh? Zab was doing well. But I think there's two sides of Mayweather. You had Money May, and then you had Pretty Boy.
Which is your favorite?
Pretty Boy was untouchable. And I will tell you right now, there was nobody that would stop him. If you look at the dismantling of Arturo Gatti...
Hold on a second. You said no one could stop Pretty Boy.
I don't see... When Pretty Boy...
What about Oscar De La Hoya?
Nah.
Oscar fought him. It had a split decision.
Well, I mean, it could be a split decision, but it was a...
Some people argue that Oscar De La Hoya won that fight.
Yeah, but you'll get that.
You can't be untouchable. You can't say.
He's untouchable. I don't see anyone stopping Mayweather at Pretty Boy in his... prime, in his element.
I'm of the opinion. I think Terence Crawford would have beaten him.
Terence Crawford?
Yeah, absolutely. I think Terence Crawford, if it wasn't for Canelo just like fighting every 3 seconds, I think Terence Crawford would be the number 1 pound for pound.
I was about to say...
I know you like Spence, but I believe your boy's going to go under once Terence Crawford puts hands.
I tell you what, it would be a great fight. It would be a great fight, and it would be one I'd be nervous about. I mean, it would be one of those. Yeah. But I would back Spence. I think he'd have enough.
You know what we should do? We should do like the big fights coming up in the weekend. We should do like a little prediction game. Do like our own fantasy boxing league. I don't think they've actually made one.
Well, I'm schooling you on football fantasy league, so.
Oh. Wait, hold on a second. This man is so far in the lead. I actually got to check the score.
I was far in the lead until you triple captain Salah. Yeah,
someone had a good mind there. Huh?
Yeah, no, and that was.
What happens? You didn't even put Salah on your team.
I didn't know.
So I've caught up to you. I am now 100 points behind you.
Yeah, 100 points. 100 points.
I was about 200 behind.
Yeah, no. This weekend I took a bit of punishment.
In fact, you've fallen off the top of the league.
No, can't be. To whom? Oh, to Rob's. But that's 3 points. Rob's, I'll catch him. I've got him in my sights.
The average score this week was 84 and you 54. So
I'd had a very bad week. I won't lie. Yeah. But that's
what happens. But I see. You have Harry Kane. Okay, so you at least had that sensible.
But I still have my triple captain chip. So.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, I can.
I still have my bench boost, which you used.
I used it now this week, yes.
I saw that. If I had used my bench boost, I would have been in first place. No, I'm joking. Yeah, no, but it's good fun.
It's good. But yeah, I think if we do that, that would be
boxing.
That would be a little bit of a fantasy league there. Yeah,
we'll start a group. If anyone wants to join the group, send us a message as well because we add everyone there. I mean, as long as it's a competitive league,
that would be great. I actually.
We'll just have to monitor it like quite a bit and work out a point system and everything like that. I'll be far out in front, but I don't mind.
Yeah, that's fighting talk. Eh?
Absolutely leather everyone there. Oh man, jeez.
Yeah, no, look, it's good. And look, you know what? As I said, and going back to it, I hope that we can work well with this podcast. We can, just talk about boxing, and local and international, and not have anybody get up in our faces and be upset about it because we're chilled. We're not attacking anyone. We're not.
That's the thing.
But we should be able to have that discussion.
So you should have that discussion. Yeah. I do feel like if you have something to say, you should come out and say it. But then also be prepared for can you give us a solution? Like I said earlier in the show,
100%.
I don't like that one-sided criticism because then it looks like you're playing sides.
Yeah, the funniest thing is that once that one-sided criticism comes, then you're blocked on Facebook, you're blocked all over the show, and you can't have your come back on it and say, well...
it's like we're in high school, where everyone's blocking everyone.
Yeah, it's crazy, but let's debate it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You and I can sit here and talk about Nap and Ndombasi.
Yeah.
And you and I will probably have varying different, the way we saw it, how it was played out, and that's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine. Have the difference of opinion.
But that's the thing.
But we're saying, okay, how do we now ensure that it doesn't happen again? Or how do we ensure going forward?
I think that's the issue with that one. I think I don't know if you want to tackle that one right now.
Maybe not for our first one, because we want viewers, Yeah,
at least come on episode 2, 3, 4.
There's bring your popcorn. It's going to be a good one.
I'm not telling you which one is coming on, but we'll talk about it. Yeah, I think it's a big point, but let's
it's a very touchy one.
It's one of those ones where you need more time.
For sure, yeah.
Yeah, I think we got about 15 minutes still on this one.
Yeah.
So, yeah, man, I think it's one of those lengthy discussions.
But you know what? Great that there's a platform where we can talk about it.
Yeah.
We can debate it. We can have our opinions on it.
You don't have to feel so sad
and you don't have to feel upset about it or grieved. I'm not going to leave here and block you on WhatsApp and Facebook and things like that. Because why? Don't have to. We can talk about it. We can, And I think maybe the more we talk about it in a constructive way, the better.
The better, yeah.
You know what I mean? So, yeah.
So, in terms of what you've seen on the negativity side, what's the sort of most negative comments you've seen?
Oh, man.
Over time.
Oh, no, I've been involved in a few,
You're getting a few scuffles yourself?
Not... You know what? There was.
I mean, you don't say the negative. I'm saying you fight back.
No, yeah. Look, I didn't in the beginning. I was very verbal in the beginning, but I've realised that you tend to pick your battles, and it's not worth it. So, look, like I say, it's a very the boxing industry is touchy. Guys don't like being spoken up to, and it's not that you're speaking up to anyone in that, but if you've got, what I don't like is when you using a social media platform to ridicule, call people out, bash, and do all of those things.
And you tag them as well.
And
like
you
their
tag
whole
them.
family is seeing them, and everyone's like, "Oh my, who's this saying this about you?"
It's just not.
I don't like this guy. He's saying horrible things.
100%.
As a person that's just in boxing, that just throws punches, it's the worst thing you can do is have someone talk shit about you, because you're literally getting punched in the face for an occupation. Firstly, it's a brave occupation, so you can't just and to fight verbally back with someone after you've just been in a war.
And how often do, I'm talking now to the casual fan, how often do they just read the comment but actually not get the context of what it's about? Yeah, now you're picking a side, but you actually don't really know.
Or even worse, you didn't even watch the fight.
You didn't even watch the fight, but you now, you understand. So
I don't like this guy. This guy is like this. Or even worse, newspaper headlines. They'll do an entire interview and take it one shit quotes and put it up there and be like, well, this guy said this, and takes it completely out of
and
context.
Forgets the 45 minutes that you.
This is why I abandoned reading not social media. I abandoned reading print media because they can literally write anything about you and take one quote from what you said.
From what you said,
could have said 9 nice things. They'll take the one bad thing and they'll be like, this person said X about
and they'll
this
still
person.
Flip it and turn it around and make it.
This is why I like my platform as well, because on SA Boxing Talk, I'm showing you everything. You interpret it. There's no you can interpret it. You're seeing what's happening.
Yeah.
I'm interviewing you. You're interviewing you know what I'm saying, that type of thing. If you're a boxer, I'm interviewing you. There's no ways I can spin that story. And I can put a headline that's probably the most suitable for people to watch. Yeah. But at the same time, I'm not out there being like, oh, I'm going to take that and then I'm going to cut the rest of the video out and just play that part. Yeah. Not going to happen.
No, of course not. But that's, the thing I was saying, that with SA Boxing Talk, I mean, it's a phenomenal show, and what you do for boxing in terms of the meetings and the interviews and that you give that you put out there. I mean, that's it's like that's what we want.
That's what your phone didn't understand you, man.
But that's what we want. You know what I mean? And the thing is, you did a interview with Chris the other day. You know what I mean? And he had his say, and he was, we want that kind of thing.
And did you notice I went down to Cape Town to get John Roo's story as well?
100%. And we got his side of it. And you know what? It just makes for great entertainment, for great fun. And you know what? It's not like neither interview was pointing a finger or bad-mouthing or, you know what I mean? There was an opinion and the guys were giving what they thought was what their version of it was.
Yeah.
But it made it exciting. I love those interviews.
Hey man, it's cool when guys are going.
You know,
like it's not like a personal thing. It's just like they're tuning each other's boxing abilities. You know, like
Yes.
I reckon I could knock this guy out. Ask Jean Rue how the fight will go, and then Jean Rue says, Chris doesn't know what he's talking about. He's never fought a guy in the top 5 in South Africa. It's banter. These guys are
Big
going.
time, yeah.
You know, that's I like as you said, like it's good to get that sort of banter.
Yes.
Otherwise, it's like two guys in a ring.
Well, but that's the thing, yeah.
Now
it builds a bit of a, yeah.
So, that's an interesting fight, eh? But you'll be going to see Jean Rue live as well.
Yes, yeah, I will be. I'll be at that event. I'm quite excited about that event. I won't lie.
Okay. Your favorite boxers there too?
My man is there, yeah. So I'm looking forward to seeing him leather someone.
Leather, yeah. Do you think he leathers this guy? I mean,
yeah, no, I do. I think Kev.
all Dino's losses have come by way of stoppage, so he should.
Yeah, look.
As well.
You know, I think Kev will have too much for him. But yeah, hopefully, you know, considering he had that hand up, so you know, maybe after this, you know, maybe something big comes along.
Yeah, well, look, it's Usyk started off with like Chaz Witherspoon, you know, like you know, like that fight, and then he fought someone else, and then he fought step up against Chisora as well.
Yeah.
And then finally got the shots against Anthony Joshua and beat Anthony Joshua. So like,
and he boxed that fight. I mean, that was.
Okay, so it's a difficult comparison because Usyk was.
Didn't you call Joshua that fight?
That's why we have a rematch. We have a rematch clause. We made sure. I hope Joshua fights again against Usyk. I think that even though he lost the first fight and Usyk fought extremely well, he's become the world champion, no doubt about it. I still feel that Joshua can do a lot better. He looked a bit gun shy.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think he could.
He made a mistake, I think, by cutting so much weight. He tried to box with Usyk, and we know that skill-wise, Usyk's a much better boxer than Anthony Joshua is. But like, if he used his size against Usyk, he could have done a lot better. But again, that's just for the camps. They the sort of scientists behind the scenes, they would have known what they did wrong and what they did right. I mean, we just on the outside commenting.
Correct.
But I hope he doesn't step aside. And
I don't believe he will. No, I don't believe. And I think now with Fury, White, that whole thing now coming into play.
Yeah. Who wins that fight?
No, I think Fury. Yeah. Look, I like Dillian White.
No, I get that. Yeah.
But I think Fury will just. I must admit, I don't.
Do you think Fury finishes undefeated?
I think so. As much as I like Usyk.
So there's no one in the heavyweight division coming up.
Well, up and coming maybe, but Fury's not going to stick around.
Yeah,
I mean, he's been talking about having the basically taking care of Dillian White, Joshua, and then Usyk or either or. But those three, and then basically saying I've had it in it. So I think I think he stops undefeated. I don't think I can't see anyone really. But in saying that, now I was thinking now also with, there's all this nonsense going on in the Ukraine and stuff. Does that have it's got to have a psychological impact. I mean...
Well, so Usyk, he trains in the USA?
Yeah, he does, but he's gone back to Ukraine now.
Yeah, you see, that's dangerous.
Yeah, he's obviously, because Vitaly Klitschko, Vladimir Klitschko.
I think Vitaly's involved in politics as well.
Yeah, he is mayor of Kyiv.
That's quite a serious one.
Yeah,
so I wouldn't want to mess with Vitaly Klitschko. Let's put it that way. He's probably the harder of the two brothers.
Yeah, no, he was my favorite. I loved him.
Was he? I loved it too.
Big time. The one rematch, we were talking about rematches. I wish Lennox Lewis and him had that rematch. I wish.
I was a big Vladimir fan. Vladimir Klitschko.
Yeah, I also loved Vladimir.
I like both of them, but I was a bigger. Yeah. Okay, Vladimir got sort of the limelight, but out of the two, but the sort of the stone was Vitaly.
100%.
He was a rock. Yeah.
If he. You know what? Coming back after a 5-year layoff and absolutely dismantling Samuel Peter. That was...
But you know what I liked about Vladimir? He had that vulnerability about him.
Yes.
So, he'd take those additional risks because of that vulnerability. Then he started tying up people and, holding them and keeping them. That was a bit boring.
Yes.
And he was kind of fighting substandard heavyweights at the time as well.
Yeah.
We know how long he defended his titles for before... that man Tyson Fury came and took care of business. But up until that point,
he was, well, if you look at both Klitschko brothers, they held dominance in the heavyweight division for a while.
Yeah.
You know,
Look,
so-
it was an impressive reign, but you got to also take into account of who they fought. I mean, Lennox was probably the last big proper heavyweight that they fought before they went on that.
Yeah. That's true. Look,
I don't know why I'm just combining the brothers. I actually just combine the brothers.
But I know what you're saying. Yeah. No, I know what you're saying. I think, look, I think the heavyweight division hasn't suffered for a
now
long
it's good
time.
right now. Right now it's hot.
Yeah.
There's a couple of guys also like from
I
Russia,
can't remember
China.
his name, man. There was a guy who fought now on this last.
I'll try to get it to you.
Man,
You're gonna tell me the British show?
yes.
On this boxer show, on Amir Khan's undercard.
Yes. I can't think of his name now. Look, a lot of people are saying, the guy that fought in was a stand-in because the guy who was supposed to fight.
Yeah.
I can't remember.
But what
his
about?
name
I
now,
mean, looking at the heavyweight division, what about guys like Joe Joyce? I mean, that.
I like Joe Joyce. Yeah.
I mean, he destroyed.
I like Dubois, but he
Dubois
destroyed
didn't
him.
even have like a shot that fight.
And I'm surprised though because I thought he would have,
That's power, man.
Yeah.
No, I was surprised too. I thought Dubois was going to win that fight beforehand.
No, 100%. Yeah.
But after watching that fight, I don't think Dubois would even come close to him in a rematch as well.
Well, I don't think so. No.
He must just stay against guys that
Yeah.
he can like catch distance against.
Yeah.
Someone that's not going to keep him as busy. I mean, yeah, the styles do make fights, but you want to see competitive fights as well.
Yeah. We do want to see competitive
Yeah,
fights.
I hate seeing one-sided fights.
But I got to tell you, talking about competitive fights, Katie Taylor, Serrano, that's going to be. I'm so on the fence
So
with
tell
that
me
fight.
something. How much do you know about female boxing? Because for me, I'm still like quite new to like the sort of the stars. Like I'll know like the names that are like Katie Taylor's and Amanda Serrano's.
So, yes.
You know the Clarissa Shields.
Yeah.
Those sort of girls, but I'm not
Michaela
too
Mayer,
big into the scene as a whole. Like I don't know like the upcoming boxers and that sort of thing. I mean, DAZN's doing a really good job, obviously promoting in the UK female boxers, but outside of that, I'm not too sure what's happening in the American scene.
Yeah, look, I'm not. I don't know too much. I'm also quite new into the. But look, Katie Taylor's. She's my favorite. I love Katie Taylor.
I know the blonde bomber as well.
Yeah, Ebony Bridges.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She made a name for herself, and then the person that beat her as well was a good boxer as well.
Yeah, Shannon. The Shotgun Shannon.
Yeah.
But yeah, look, Ebony Bridges.
But we have our own female star. I mean, Simon Gila had a really good last night.
100%. Yeah, no, she was looking solid, eh?
Even ahead of Volmerans, it's pretty good.
Yeah, the shredder.
The shredder. I wouldn't want to. I say I wouldn't want to be in the ring. I've actually sparred it there before.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
eh?
those straight leps are not to be.
Not to be taken lightly. Yeah. We look, but that's what I was saying.
I felt my nose. Yeah. It was pain. I was just sore.
Look, but that's why I was saying, and I go back. We've got the talent. We've got so much here, and I just, the more we talk about it.
So you know what's sad, man? I know that we were running out of time here, but what's sad is that you're turning all these boxers professional. They never get chances. I think about 10% of the boxers end up fighting. The rest just sit on their bike like the whole year. So we don't actually see how big our talent pool actually is because they're not utilized. Like there could be the next whoever waiting there. He's just not getting his chance. He's sitting. He doesn't have the connections to put him in with the right promoters, the right matchmakers. They just don't have those things.
Yeah. But if it's opened up.
But if it's opened up and everyone is putting on boxing, we can now identify these talents much easier.
Yeah. But look, just running quickly. There's a boxer. I don't know if he was amateur champion Mike Watson. I was lucky enough to have met his dad before he passed, and he signed with Golden Gloves. And he just never got a fight.
When was this?
Now, 3 years ago.
3 years ago.
Yeah,
what is he doing now?
He was SA champion. No, look, I don't know if he's training or if he's doing anything now, but he was SA heavyweight champion. He signed, and this was a great thing. I said to Mike, geez, it'd be great to see you on a tournament. And let's do this. It'd be great to see.
I see you sending me names of guys you believe are to be good as well.
100%.
Amateurs. You're watching the sparring of the amateurs as well.
Yes.
So
now
looking at the next generation.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying, which is what's great. But it shows, like SA Boxing Talk, hopefully getting leathered with Hayden and Mike.
Yeah, straight.
It shows like that just bring those guys into the picture, and people talk about it more.
Yeah.
Look forward to seeing guys on shows and stuff like that. So I think it'll be a good thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so well, that's coming up on the hour mark right now.
Yeah.
Getting leathered with Hayden and Mike. I've really enjoyed today's talk. We covered literally, we went all around the world.
Yeah, I think
we stepped
it was
into America. We stepped into the UK. We stepped even into the Ukraine under dangerous circumstances.
Tell you what,
And then we dipped our toes back in South Africa again, which was fantastic. Obviously, chatting about boxing can go forever.
Yeah, no, I could go on for days and days and days.
Yeah. If we didn't have this constraint, we could have gone on the whole day. I would have missed my family and everything like that. But yeah, thanks, Mike.
No, Aiden, thank you. That was great. And yeah, I really hope we can have fun with this. We can talk about it, and obviously, hopefully people respond and say, we'd like to talk about this or that, whatever.
Yeah.
And I really hope it's something that we can.
Well, people at home if they've gone through the marathon of doing this hour and sitting with us and listening, we would appreciate some comments, whatever you want to say, like joining the conversation as well, because there were a couple of topics. Obviously, we agreed before the show that we might disagree on some things.
100%,
that's obviously going to happen. I mean, there's two different opinions.
But that's the beauty of boxing. Yeah. That's the beauty of the conversation.
It would be a boring show if we just went one way.
100%, yeah. So.
Although it doesn't mean we can't agree on certain things, which obviously we do. We do agree on a lot of things. So yeah.
Yeah. No, but that was great, and thank you for being there to make this happen. And I want to personally just say from SA Boxing Talk, thank you. For bringing us closer to the fighters, and I wish you well on your commentary journey because it's been fantastic. So yeah.
All right, I'll take. As I said, I can't commentate on my own commentary. So, thank you for that, Mike. Yep. And obviously, to more and more. Obviously, this is episode number 1. It's the pilot episode.
It might be a bit rough around the edges, but
it will be. But obviously, we want to get more focus and intensive on our topics. We might have down the line. No promises, but we might have guests as well.
100%, yeah.
But, maybe we can get some fight build-ups here.
Yes, let's
get some guys here to talk some leather. And,
talk leather or get leathered, it's going to be one of the two.
Leathered,
So, no, that's awesome. But, until then, keep safe, keep well, keep punching.